Your soul is focused.
You found yourself a cheerleader. We got 2 or 3 in the house today. Woohoo! Good morning, Benny.
No, we got a cheer squad.
A cheer squad.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have more than 2, right?
I don't know. Is a squad?
I don't either. I don't know. Is there a politically correct way of saying cheer squad? You said 3, so I mean, we'll
you know
go
what, Benny? We're going with it, buddy. Just go with it, babe.
All right.
Going with it. I have to introduce you to somebody. You ready? You got to watch the screen, Ben.
Okay. We need some history. Who is that?
This is Dragon. Oh.
You say that one more time.
This is my dragon.
Oh, it's a dragon. What's the dragon's name?
See? Isn't it so cute? I had to share because it's so adorable and sweet. Carolyn has no idea what she's getting herself into.
Who gave you that?
I'm with her.
I did.
Oh,
I gave it to me because it's so cushy and yummy and sweet. It's so the best stuffed animals are jelly cats.
Sometimes you just got to give yourself a gift.
Yeah.
And a lovely gift.
Right?
It brings joy and love to my heart, and my dog wants to know why it's not his, my dog Levi. Anyways, for those in the radio world, if you want, you got to check us out on YouTube and see my little dragon. I've been having fun on social media with my dragon, totally in love. And Levi, my dog, is like all over me trying to get my little dragon. I'm like, no, this is my toy. All right, guys, I swear to you, this is a live radio show. It's the Gratitude Cafe. It's Sue Lundquist here. It's your host. And we are talking about new perspective, new thoughts, new ideas. It's all about you 2.0. We're going to go a little deep, not a little deep. We went deep, fun, talk about business. We're going to talk about strategy. We're going to talk about building a business that runs while you're sleeping, runs without you. I mean, how juicy is that? You want to make money when you sleep? Do you want to have that all automated? I'm so excited. I've got an incredible guest, like I always do, but I'm beaming, and I'm just beaming and excited. So before I get started, I wanted to remind all of you about the C2C program, Craziness to Clarity. You guys know that I do the online program, and then we have the little mini live program. And that is all about giving you those self-sustainable, real life, in the moment tools to help you self-regulate, to help you with that drunk monkey that's going on in that beautiful mind of yours. And we have old beliefs and old programs. And with that, we have triggers and things that come up. And remember, audience, you know, when I'm coaching and telling all of you and talking to all of you, those triggers are all you and your responsibility. Please don't put them on anybody else. It's all about you. So love on yourself, have the courage, be brave, go within and get the tools. You know, you're hearing this for a reason. So let's show up beautiful and brave. Go to SueLundquist.com and the letter C, the number 2 and the letter C. C2C, you can do the online program. And of course, you can do one-on-one coaching with myself. I would love to be a part of that transformation and that change. And of course, you'll be learning about the 3 phases of transformation: awareness, clarity, and transformation. All of that, it is all about you, loving on you, and creating real life practical tools to help you sustain that mindset and moving forward in your life consistently, because that's what I want to do. So I created a system to help you do that. And I'm sure Carolyn's got something to say about that as well. I am going to bring her on. I've got the formal introduction. I'm going to read that, and then we're going to get to know her. I cannot wait to hear this story. Her backstory from Germany, originally from Germany, how she got to the US with just a couple bucks in her pocket and a suitcase, if I'm not misunderstanding. So you guys have got to hear this. And now where she's at, and her lots of money. Is it multi-million? It's a big chunk of money. Wow, you have created for yourself and for other people. So let's roll with this here, you guys. All right. Carolin Soldo is a business coach, trainer, and speaker who shows business women in service-based industries how to grow their business with ease and elegance. After immigrating to the US from Germany with just a few $100s in her pocket and a suitcase with a lot of big dreams, isn't that where we start? I love it. Carolyn built $2 million businesses in service industries and runs an Inc. 5000 ranked business. She now has devoted herself to helping other business owners take their business to scale. Yay!
Hey, hi Sue. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so of course we have the formal introduction, but let's get to know you. Tell us your story, how you came here from Germany, and the desire, the push behind that.
Yeah, this has been, it is a long story, but it's been so rewarding. And I think we have a lot in common in terms of like the mindset and how important that is and all the lessons I've learned along the way. But yeah, so it's a big love story. That's how it started. So I met my now husband of 17 years in Germany. He's not a German guy, he's Croatian. So he was an immigrant in Germany. He fled the war in Croatia, came there, had to sort of build back up his whole life. And I went to school with his girl cousins. They're twin girls who were best friends. And so, when we were teenagers, he was sort of the big cousin driving us around to the clubs and the parties because he had the car. And, long story short, we fell in love. And then he had to leave. So Germany said, you got to go. So it was a limited sort of visa they had, him and his family. And then they left Germany in 1998 to come to the US. Pick Buffalo. Of all the amazing cities they could have picked, right? Florida, California, now I'm sitting in Buffalo, but hey, it worked out. So we had a long distance relationship. I worked, I was a cashier, saved all my money to buy these, expensive flight tickets to come to see him whenever I had a school break. And then when I was 18, I decided to leave Germany, leave it all behind, to be with him, but also to be done with a really difficult past. I have a lot of difficult things in my past that I wanted to sort of, let go of and start over. So I literally sold my car. I had this little green car. I think I had $500 at that point, and stuffed all my things in like these huge, the biggest suitcases I could find and I could afford. and I landed. I didn't even know where I was going to go. He had picked an apartment. He had, sent me some pictures, but I didn't know. I just trusted him. And I remember we had no furniture. All we bought, literally, young kids, was one of those big screen TVs, but not the thin one. It was one of those fat boxes. Remember those?
It took up majority of the space. Yeah.
So we sat on the floor on pillows and we had a big screen TV. And that's how it all began. Went to school, worked hard. I had this idea of, hey, this is America. I can do anything here. I can, go to school, I can create this amazing career, I want kids, I want the big house, I want all the things. So we had nothing to lose. And I think that's, when you have nothing to lose, then you really go for it. And because how much lower can you go? You can't.
Right.
You know, so it's been really, really, really great. And we've been really blessed. And I always say, if you want to make it anywhere around the world, you really can. Obviously, there's restrictions and things now with what's happening, but still, if you want to make something out of yourself, this country will allow you to do it.
Oh, what a great message, especially with everything that's going on worldwide, right? You can do it, folks. You've just got to get the tools and the people around you, your tribe, those people that you trust and that, have walked the talk. You, me, have walked the talk and have proven that it can be done. Talk to me about the business. How did you, I want to kind of roll into that. Where did that all come from? You did the school, you immigrated from Germany to the US, and then business. Describe the business.
Yes. So our first business, Sue, is, we still have it, obviously. It's a manufacturing company. And Boris is a trained engineer. Had always worked sort of minimum wage for different machine shops in the area. And one day he came to me and he said, I can do this better. Let's start a company. I didn't have anything in terms of a business background except going to school for business, and I was completing my master's degree. And I said, we have no money, we have nothing, you're crazy, forget this idea. This is not happening. But he wouldn't let it go. So We actually wrote a business plan in our little apartment in our kitchen. So I got this template online somewhere, literally Google business plan template, download this thing, write this business plan, because we had to buy machinery, and they're pretty expensive machines. So we had literally, I have no idea how this happened, but we had no collateral, no money. We got approved by the SBA, the Small Business Administration, thank God, for this loan to buy this big machine. And they got us into a small business incubator, which is a really, really cheap space in a really bad area too of Buffalo. But so we locked the door right at night. It was all good. So we had this big machine. Boris had some contacts from his old job, brought the customers over, slowly began to hire a couple of the guys that he had worked with in the past and build it up. So at that point, I finished my MBA. I got a job at a bank locally. So our life was him at the shop. I worked during the day, making the money, which he wasn't bringing in as much yet. So I paid the bills. And then at night, I would come to help him to send marketing letters, do QuickBooks, do whatever, he needed to do in terms of the office. And it was just hustling, calling people, cold calling. Hey, do you need machining services? Making things up. And it really is that mindset of, you don't know how to do it, just figure it out. It's not going to be perfect, but you get it done and you learn over time. And, here we are. So that was my first business experience.
Wow. I love that. And audience, if you didn't hear that, and what I'm taking away from that is, and it was so funny that you say this, because I was thinking about our interview this morning. And what was coming up intuitively for me is, what? Just do it. Just literally act on whatever it is. You're going to learn either way. And the audience knows this. It's also mindset in the language that we use. It's not that you're failing, but if you're failing, fail fast, if you're going to call it that. I use it as an adjective to describe, because yes, allow yourself to have the emotions around it if there is, but long and short of it, it's always a lesson learned. You're learning within that. You're gaining wisdom. And I love that. So business, he had the machines and he's doing that. You guys are hustling. The big message here is just go for it, do it. And now look where you're at. I mean, fast forward to $1 million businesses, helping hundreds of other service industry businesses really succeed while they're sleeping too. I like that. Tell me how to do that.
Now, I have to give you a disclaimer. Right? Okay. So making money while you sleep, not so much. Right? Not really. Okay. Maybe
not really. Yeah.
So there's always a lot of work. Even to get to that point, there's a lot of work involved. But I have, from growing, Boris's business and then also my consulting company, always try to find ways to make things easier on myself, because I've faced a lot of burnout along the way too. And, with the drive and the ambition comes a lot of work, and you let yourself just work, and you never stop. Eventually, you sort of hit a wall. So through my own pain and struggling and constantly trying to make things easier for myself, I've come up with a couple of, best practices that I like to give clients to work less. And some of them are sexy, some of them are not so sexy. So I don't know where you want me to start, the not sexy ones, or
you just roll with it, sweetheart. Tear off the Band-Aid, do whatever you want. Roll.
Yeah. So the sexiest one, I guess, is marketing automation.
Okay.
Now, marketing is, how do we get new clients or new customers, and how do we make it so it doesn't take over 80% of what we do. And most business owners,
huge. Yeah. Especially for entrepreneurs, the small business,
all the time. So I love building what I call online, digital, automated customer journeys. And using the latest and greatest tools to get your message out there in front of the right people without you having to do anything. And we have a couple different ways through educational webinar funnels that we build. We build online video sequences, but all the things we use are video based for the most part. We love running ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads, all of that, because that gets you in front of new people all the time without you having to do anything.
And that's your niche people. You really like the Facebook ads, because that's something that I've been talking to my team about as well. They're like, no, you should. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, as long as, the key behind it is knowing the metrics. People jump into it and then it doesn't work, and then they feel like the whole thing isn't working for them, which it's just a baseline. Once you know what the stats are and what they mean, then you can focus in on this whole journey that you set up, the system, and figure out what needs to be improving next. So it's always, where do I improve my whole flow to make it more profitable and, increase my return over time. But one easy way that I, for my service people who are, other consultants, people in wellness, financial advisors, attorneys, that kind of thing. We love the education-based model where we have them build a talk. It's a training, and there's a couple different ways to do this, but essentially it's about a 30 to 60 minute educational talk they built. We record it, then we set it up with automation tools, so it's available on demand. Anybody can watch it at any point in time. And then we feed it. So you can feed it with ads. You can feed it by giving people a link when you meet them. You can post it in groups. Anywhere you can feed it. And then on this talk, most of our clients sell what we would call high ticket services. So something that requires a conversation. You're not just going to throw them a course that they can buy, which you could, but most of the time it's a sales call. So we invite them on a sales call. Obviously we qualify, this is for you if you're here. It's maybe not for you if you're over there. So we make sure through, how we present the call that we have good quality leads that are coming in and booking. And then we allow them to book through online calendars, and we wake up with sales calls. And that to me is the backbone of your business, because when you have good quality calls coming in and they're finding you without you having to find them, then yes, then you score big time. And that gives you so much peace of mind, calm, right? If I have 10 calls this week, chances are 4 or 5 of them are going to be great, and I make my money and I move on.
Can we segue to this and yes, I've got the calls, but then it's now your job to close the deal.
Yeah. So
that language around that, right?
Exactly. So that's where you hire replacements. You duplicate yourself.
Oh.
So the tools are one thing in the systems, but then your business can't run without people, right? And as the business grows, most of your problems will be people related, but that's a whole other story. But then I figured, how do I replace myself? Where do I spend most of my time? And I really don't want to spend that time there.
Yeah.
And we as the owners are great at selling our services because we love them. We got the passion. I mean, look at you. You're like sparkling. You love what you do. And people can tell. So nobody will be just like you in this way, but it's important to get yourself out of that. So I hired a sales team. Then I was, coaching a lot. So I hired coaches to help me coach my clients. And I kept the things I had to keep as a business owner, but that is your next step. That's maybe not as sexy. It's really hiring someone who can be you so that you can go sleep, go to the beach, take a nap, or whatever you want to do.
Nice. Because I know for myself, yes, I love what I do within the radio and this whole marketing platform here, but working with clients, that one-on-one and being of service with clients one-on-one, or, one to many, probably 20-ish, big, huge is not, because I like the interaction and the engagement. Mm-hmm. Where I'm going with this, Carolyn, is the sales pitch, because it's authentic and genuine. I just come across as me. I'm not going to hard sell you. If we're not the good match, we're not the good match. Guess what? There's lots of coaches out there. I'm going to recommend, others that I know that are in integrity and follow, a value system like mine. But I have always found, and maybe it's just I need to hire a sales team to bring them in or something. It's not like it's an issue, but I have always found in my mind that I just didn't want to be that car salesy kind of, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants that.
No, I don't want to do that to anybody, nor do I want to be treated that way. No. And sorry for the car salesy people. It's just a description. I'm not, yes.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole, thing around really adopting a healthy sales mindset. And you have to, if you're going to sell long term, it's one of these areas that has massive turnover, right? Because people just can't sustain the rejection and then the pressure and maybe them being in the wrong mindset. But to me, sales is a chance to make friends. So
different mindset there.
totally different mindset. I've always told my team, first thing in the morning, is what intentions are you setting? What do you want to experience today? I want my calls to be exciting. I want to make new friends. I want to discover interesting people. I want to be, respecting myself, honoring my boundaries. I want to be honest. I'm not depending on anybody's buying or not buying or anything. If it's, to your point, the right fit, it will happen. And just claiming and demanding that happiness and making that priority. And then it's going to happen. And maybe there will be some bad apples in the mix and some calls where you're like, this person is not my thing. But you're still honoring yourself, and at the end of the day, you go to bed, feeling like I've done a really good job, and I'm making this really enjoyable for myself. So, selling is not about the scripts or anything. It's number one mindset every single day. How do you want to feel? How grateful do you want to be?
I love that. Audience, did you catch that? Because of course, in my coaching practice, we talk about obviously the mindset and self-sabotaging behaviors and old triggers that come up, all that. But going in with the intention and also setting the intention. I love that. Setting, and I coach about this. And of course, now you're reminding me of, well, do it for sales, Sue. Because, in any conversation, just like I'm prepped for us, I'm like, I set the intention, clear communication, open, love, compassion, all that stuff to be enjoy and set that intention. So Sue, why don't you do that for sales calls? Yes, right. And have fun. And I love what you said. Sales call is to make a friend, have fun, interact. And a lot of what I heard you say is releasing that expectation. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's a lot of the work that I do too, because you can't take it personally. You can't, especially in my industry, you just know, because you have people that are going to fall apart and it has nothing to do with you. And it's the same kind of, you put yourself in that situation with the sales. I like that. Take that out of there. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good nugget. Did you guys catch that? That was yummy. All right. Well, Benny, maybe that would be a good segue. Why don't we take a quick commercial break? And when we come back, we're going to continue talking to Carolin Soldo. We're going to building a business that runs without you. We're going to talk, and there's a 6-step business scaling process that we kind of nibbled on with the sales, but we'll continue to do that. All right. For those of you on the radio, we'll be back in just a few minutes. For those on YouTube, we're going to keep chatting. All right. We'll be right back. Sue Lundquist here with the Gratitude Cafe.
Yeah, Claire, go ahead.
Thank you. I got to blow my nose. Hang on.
Go for it. I'm always afraid my dog's going to bark. That's the one thing with my interviews, because he's huge and he's sleeping right now, but any little thing, he wakes up and he barks.
Yeah. Well, Levi, here, YouTube world. I have Levi sitting there. I know, because I have Dragon. He has been running around my desk because I have my Dragon. Now he's right there. I'm like, be professional on my radio show, and I've got this dog circling.
But he's quiet. That's awesome.
Well, right now, he might. Now watch, we're going to come back from commercial and they're both going to start talking. And you know what? That's totally fine. It is what it is. We're absolutely fine. Okay, so where do you want this conversation to start going? Are you feeling good where we're at, or yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty spontaneous. Anywhere you wanted to go. Yeah, we've given some good advice already with the marketing and hiring. The sales question is good. Yeah, all of it.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's always been my Achilles heel. And then the people, you go through the training process and they're like, no, here's a script, and I'm like, that doesn't feel genuine and authentic to me. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and then you really you can't read between the lines when you go from a script, and then you miss asking some really important questions.
Yeah.
I had a sales team member, I will never forget this, and she was new. And in the beginning of the call, a lady said, you know what, I missed years of my son's life in the beginning. And she was going off on how much regret and guilt she felt and all that stuff. And the sales, so in Amy, right, she was just going through her script, and by the end of this call, I didn't even know the boy's name. The whole time I was listening to the recording and I'm like, how can you miss this woman's pain? It's because the script was telling her to go in all these different areas, and she missed the biggest driver in the beginning. So,
wow. That's huge for those YouTubers. Did you hear that? That's really huge. Why don't we come back and can we use that example? Okay, let's do that. I love that because that's. We are back live. Sue Lundquist here with the Gratitude Cafe. Hello, radio world. Hello, international radio world, YouTube world. Thank you. Today, we are talking to business coach, trainer, and speaker. Carolin Soldo helps experienced business owners grow their businesses twice as fast, working half the time. We have been talking the first top of the hour. She has given us some really good quality tips and tools about sales and marketing and the language and the mindset. First and foremost, the mindset around that. And if you miss the last little bit of the conversation, it was, the Achilles heel in my conversation, or many people in the service industry, and more, I found that more so within I'm going to say for a broader spectrum, from in the spiritual world or that type of service industry, the salesy stuff just doesn't feel very good. But I think that's across the board. So when we went to break, and then Carolyn was talking about a situation that she had when there was a script versus going in with the mindset in the intention, because before break, she talked about set the intention. She and her team, they set the intention before the day starts with sales. We're going in and we're going to have a conversation. These are new friends. Release the expectation of the sale's going to happen or it's not. Really engage genuinely and authentically. Genuine and authentically to me are really anchoring words that I use for myself and for my coaching practice. So I love that example. If you could repeat that, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the example we talked about, Sue, was a sales team member, and bless her heart, she's not with me anymore for other reasons, but it really highlighted how you cannot just go with a script when it comes to sales and how important the mindset is. And so what I told Sue during the break was me listening to this call, and I do this a lot to just keep training the team and giving them feedback. So I'm listening to this call, and the lady comes on and she said, you know what, I want to be a business owner because I lost years and years of my son's life being in corporate, working long hours, and I really regret that, and I feel like I'm a guilty mom. I want that time with him, and I never want to make the same mistake again. And so, well, that's it. That's her pain point. That's her driver. That's her why she wants to grow this business in the right way. Now, Amy didn't seem to be really catching on to this because she kept asking other questions about, well, what about your branding and how do you like your website? And
based on the script.
Based on the script, she was going down robotically, doing the script, thinking that she was doing a good job. This was not a sale. And in the end, we didn't even know the boy's name. Mm-hmm. Right? And I thought, wow, but how can you not catch this pain? Like woman to woman, especially, both women having kids, And so if you're too stuck to your processes and procedures and scripts, you're going to miss those. You're going to miss the connection, the authenticity, right?
Oh, but listen to that. That's a great metaphor for life too. Mm-hmm. Just across the board. Yes. I love that. And audience, I'm going to just kind of pack that back up again. And specifically, we're talking to Carolyn about the sales aspect within our business, entrepreneurship, service industry, big or small. Release the expectation of the salesy, cutthroat kind of mentality. It's not about that. It's about setting the intention before a call. You guys have heard me coaching and talking about that. Set an intention before any conversation, really. So you and have that frequency and energy. But more specifically, talking about the sales call is setting the intention, really engaging authentically and genuinely with this individual, getting to know them, and then not following a script. Yes, you have the language in your background. Yes, there is an outcome if it's the right feel, right? If it's supposed to happen. But releasing that expectation of, oh my God, I got to make this sale, and really getting to engage and know your person. And then, like you were talking about with that last example, your employee had missed the whole pain point about, the reason behind wanting to be an entrepreneur and own her own business because of the mom guilt and the shame and all of that. I totally get that too. But yeah, so just slow down, genuinely and authentically engage, release the expectations, and just listen authentically and genuinely.
And it's it's important because people are smart, right? We can't look at our leads or customers as just walking bubbleheads, especially now. With everything that's going on with the censorship and whether you like social media or not, it doesn't matter, which side you're on. People are very sensitive to that kind of thing. What's being said, how they're being treated, how they feel, what they think is real and right. So now more than ever, I think we have to pay attention to that and the honesty and the realness in our conversations to honor people and to continue to stay in business. Even Boris, one thing that has really helped him create such loyal customers and have these customers stay with him for years and years and years is him always going above and beyond in terms of not just selling them, but being a partner, to where he is the machining guy, but he's sitting in meetings with the engineering team now, talking about how to make the next part, and he's gotten there because he is seen as a partner, not just the next contractor that just makes the part somewhere.
I love that.
Yeah.
And look at all the vast opportunities in that, whether it's business or personal life. Keeping yourself open and fluid and authentic and genuine is the biggest message I'm hearing here. It's beautiful. And you're creating quality relationships. I mean, there's so many opportunities in that. So why not? Ask yourself, why not? Why not? Like from Germany to the US, why not? 5 creative ways to create a new income or a new revenue, excuse me.
Yeah. So when you grow your business to, and any business eventually hits a little bit of a ceiling where you need new methods, you need to think outside the box and be a bit more disruptive to continue to grow, right? Really important. So I eventually began this habit of meeting with my team monthly to really brainstorm how to improve several areas of our company in the customer service and all these things, but also sales. How can we sell more without, making it so difficult? So I always look at how we can upsell existing customers, how we can downsell them, give them something that's complementary, extend their service, or refer them to someone and create a strategic partnership. So those are always the 5 ways I look at. And sometimes even pricing. Believe it or not, we have made a lot of money by inching up our pricing, where I remember months where I said to the team, hey, charge $300 more on this program. It didn't make a difference in how many we sold, and we had $300 more in our pocket per sale. So, even little things like that, it's if you're looking for cash flow, you can create it. Another really easy thing we did was extending customers. So we created an extension program. We said our programs now have an end. They're not forever and ever and ever, right? There's no more lifetime. Now people come to an end at 16 weeks, and then they are invited into an extension that's monthly. So, we were always looking for mostly how can we generate more from existing clients. So it's not always filling a bucket that has a hole where you're always putting new people in, but how can you monetize the existing base more?
Oh, I love that. How do you get to that creative space? I mean, you obviously have your team, and I'm advocating for the entrepreneur, the one that may be sitting there going, oh, that sounds amazing. So how can we talk to that 1-2 person?
Well, you start somewhere. This doesn't have to, wait until you have 5, 6, 7 people on the team. Do it with yourself. Do it with your assistant right now. Yeah. And also, this is a whole different story, but once I began to invite everybody on my team on these meetings, I had so many benefits from this, and these people feeling more loyal to me, the ideas that came out of them, the communication, how they were supporting each other. So also from a culture standpoint, making people feel valued and giving them a voice. And you might think the copy person or the finance guy doesn't know anything about marketing, but you might be wrong. So bring them in. Open it up. Yeah.
I
open
love
it up.
that. What about, I mean, what if you are just by yourself? Because I know I'm thinking of many women entrepreneurs that I know that they're it right now.
Mm-hmm.
How can we spark inspiration for them to create something new, to upscale, downscale, to strategic partnership, kind of?
Yeah, business owners, we have a way of motivating ourselves. We're good at that, right? We can keep our own behind and we can, we keep it going. But I have benefited so much from being in the proximity of people who I admire, who give me new ideas, who are, like me. And it's not really my friends. I don't have any real like local friends that are in business. So I had to create these communities and these partnerships for myself. And some of them are free, some of them I paid a lot of money for, to be around these people. But I think you can only go so far within your own mind, and then you have to step out of it. So joining masterminds, joining communities and networks, reading, reaching out to people. It's like building friendships. If you want to have friends, you have to invest your time into it. You have to, ask them to go to dinner and, show them that they mean something to you. So it doesn't just happen. It's work, but it pays off. So I've built a really, really awesome network of people that I can call on, that I go, mastermind with, and now everything is virtual. But even so, it's available to you, and you should, definitely make that priority.
Absolutely. Audience, did you catch that? Find your tribe. Find your tribe. And the tribe that's going to inspire you, not enable you. Somebody that's going to give you the truth with love and compassion. So you're going to, find people that you're going to have a safety around, but also that's going to, give you some tough love too, from a compassionate standpoint. Feel into that. Is it authentic and genuine to you? Because if it's not, don't do it. There's plenty out there. So find mastermind, find your tribe. And specifically because I was talking to Carolyn about us as the individual entrepreneur. What do we do to inspire ourselves? How do we create thinking out of the box? Well, you find that tribe, you find the mastermind group, you find the community of people of like-minded and that that aspire to be or more of, because you want that. You want somebody that has made multi-million dollars, so you have the wisdom, right? And the mistakes, right? Because the mistakes are just as important, so important. I'm trying to think, where would you like to have this conversation go? Because I think that was so valuable. And I know, at least for myself, especially starting off as an entrepreneur, and I love creative thinking out of the box too. I'm like, let's, make it fun. And I love that. So where can we transition this conversation to the audience and kind of teaching them some more nuggets?
Yeah, there's a couple other things. So we have this 6-step scaling process for a business, and we touched on a few of them already. So we talked about sales, right? Optimizing that sales process, shrinking that sales cycle, duplicating yourself and how important your team is and how to bring them in and give them a voice. We talked about extending customer value and marketing. There are 2 more things I look at, and those are, best buyers and services, I call it.
Okay.
And messaging. So, when it comes to best buyers and programs, it is all about your ICA. You've heard this time and time again. Who is your ideal client? But let's say, you came to me soon. You said, Carolyn, my business feels kind of out of control. What do I do? I would literally have you rank your buyer profiles and your services on how profitable they are, on how easy they are for you to deliver. Like, is it, time consuming, all that, how fun they are, both the buyers and the services, and how easy it is for you to sell them. And it could be a 1 to 10 scale, 1 to 5, doesn't matter. But a lot of times there are some really interesting things that crystallize out of this quick and easy, rating, where you either confirm what you already know, but didn't really want to, buy into fully, Or you have some big ahas and things that you never really considered before, because you don't need a ton of different buyers or a ton of different services to make great money. Most of the time, those just create chaos, stress, and inefficiencies. So that's what we do. And then the last one is really what I call bait. It's messaging, marketing. None of the marketing works if your message doesn't resonate and connect with the audience. And we gave some good examples already today with, Amy, who missed the key driver in, the mom and the boy, but, really figuring out, and the authenticity in today's world that we really have to speak, real and honest to our people. But marketing is always about what are our buyers doing right now? How are buyer behaviors shifting? What do people want to hear, need to hear right now? And when you nail the message, you can hardly make a mistake in marketing. Then the tools are just sort of the tools. And, even if you just put a postcard out, it's going to work for you because the message is everything.
Yes, the message is everything. Do you have, when you started off with your messaging, did you have a creative team or was it something that you started on your own? Can you advise on any of that?
Yeah, I started on my own. I feel that there's so much imposter syndrome and there's so much doubt in business and also in our career. Often, leaders, as they rise up the ranks, they doubt themselves and their abilities. So in order for you to have that motivation, have that confidence and show up the way you need to, it needs to come from something a bit deeper. It needs to come from a sense of conviction, call it a passion, or say this is my purpose. And I've always, yes, I had people help me brand myself and do the photo shoots and build the websites and the fancy things. But everything I always put out there began by me feeling really strongly about it for one reason or another, mostly from personal experience and the way that, I became a different woman over time. I'm not the same girl I used to be, in 2001. So as you change, your message changes and your brand evolves. So you have to do something that's based on a real deep belief inside of you to go through the tough times and to, carry people with you and to put it out there, not having, you have to have, the passion has to always overshadow the fear. I remember my first event in 2016 in Miami. I'm not a public speaker. I never trained to be speaking, and I hated speaking, and I honestly still sort of do today. I don't like public speaking. But so I'm thinking I'm going to be on the stage. We were expecting 200 or so people, and I had nightmares, falling off stage, not knowing what to say. I have this freaky accent. All these things are in my mind.
The monkey mind. Yep.
The monkey mind. But what I kept telling myself is, your passion is bigger than your fears. Why are you doing this? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to be known for? Even if you make a fool of yourself, what is more important right now? And if I didn't have that real belief, probably would have never done the events. I would have never pushed myself to do that.
Yes, that why, that mission, I like that conviction, that why. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know for myself, it's why I do what I do. One, because I walk the talk. You teach what you most need to learn, and my conviction is to never diminish myself again for anybody, any relationship. And I want that for so many women and men that I meet. Yeah. And that passion, the buck stops here. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to find that. And so the clients who say, well, what should I say in my email or what should my website say? And I'm like, what is your passion? What do you believe in?
Yes.
Find that first.
Yeah.
Once you find that, then you're not going to have those doubts anymore. Yes, maybe you need to wordsmith the email and a copywriter can do that. But then all of those doubts and the second guessing just goes away because you have the answers already inside.
I love that. And I'm going to just package that up because that was so juicy and yummy. Audience, did you catch that? Hands down, that messaging, your passion, your conviction, that why, that gut, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get on the stage in front of 200 or 20 people because this is my passion. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change lives. All of that. And then you can not change the language, but create the language for marketing. You've already got the passion. That passion is going to show up. And going back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago about that authentic and genuine feeling. People will feel that and see that passion resonate. I mean, you even alluded that to me earlier. Yes, of course, because I love what I'm doing, right? But if I sit here and I'm like, you know, it's totally different, but that's not me anyways. But you know, you can even the littlest tiny bit, you can sense it, feel it. So be authentic and genuine. Why try to fake something that you're not? Why be the chameleon? Why? Find what is true to you.
100%. Plus, it doesn't feel good. You know,
No.
it really doesn't. And it's what we did time and time again. You know, we had to make the American dream bigger than our fears of getting this big loan. And, you know, anytime I got to this next level in my business, now I'm launching a membership. It's, you know, the Beyond Fulfilled membership. I've never done this before. It's a completely new message. And I have the monkey mind too that says, you know, should you be spending time on this and this is going to work? And I'm like, but yes, I believe in it fully and deeply, and I don't care. I need to put this out there, otherwise I'll regret it. So getting yourself in that state, with that you can do anything, and you can quiet the monkey mind.
I love that. Again, it's shifting the mindset, but even somebody that's had or creates multi-million-dollar businesses still running that program of doubt, right? And then you're like, self-check. No. I know my why. It's solid in me, my body, my sense, my core, everything. And we're doing it. We're going. We're just gonna go, right? I love that. And that's a huge across the board from this whole hour of our conversation, even from your journey from Germany into the US, just do it. Yeah, there's gonna be fear, but the mind doesn't know the difference between fear and excitement. Just say, oh, we're excited. Let's just go. We're excited. We're passionate. And you're learning anyways, right? You really are.
And you're not going to do anything foolish, obviously. And maybe some people are big risk takers, and you see that too. And that's, you know, it's what they love. But the time is limited, and we know that more than ever before. And, you know, even thinking back, if we knew what was coming, we would have enjoyed our time back then a lot more. So let's not make that mistake again and go for, right, what it is that you really want. Just got to go for it.
Okay, you alluded to a new little program that you're starting. Can we have that conversation? What are we starting here?
Absolutely. So it's my passion project, Sue. It's the Beyond Fulfilled membership and journey. We're building it on the Mighty Networks platform, so off of Facebook, and it's a transformation system that I've extracted from the last really 5 years of my business and my personal life, where I have achieved so much, as we, you know, you shared a little bit, but I've also experienced a lot of lacking fulfillment along the way. So I see what I call the success myth operating in so many people who are in business or career, who work, but never really hit the spot where they feel truly and deeply fulfilled. And I think I know why. And it has to do with false drivers, it has to do with naysayers, it has to do with difficult paths, and it has to do with, you know, really a false idea of success. And sometimes even living under this illusion of making an impact, where really what you're looking for is something completely different. So this is something I've been rolling out. First, I wanted to write a book, which I'm still doing. But then I thought, how do I get this to people faster? How do I actually get my hands dirty and like do this with people, right? So I put some clients through it. They had amazing success, and not even with big life shifts, but a completely different mindset, and them realizing what they really, truly wanted to feel from life, which is so, it gives you the ultimate freedom. You know,
that's the magic moment when they're like,
yes.
And we're like, yes.
So if you allow me, I wasn't planning on this, but I'm actually launching a challenge. It's the 30-day challenge in March.
Ooh.
If this resonates with you, go to beyondfulfilled.com/challenge. It's pay what feels good. You can pay us $1, $2, $10, doesn't matter. It's not about the money. But it's a way for us to kickstart this community, and for me to, you know, open some eyes, create some aha, you know, moments. Because, you know, when you make 4 million, you wonder, do I need 6? Do I need 10? How many more millions do I need to actually feel it?
Well, Carolyn, look at this. Okay, we were just talking about how can we inspire that one individual entrepreneur or 5? You just did it, the 30-day challenge. Go to a tribe that you're going to get, yes, it's a kickstart for your program, but what about, oh my God, that's it. To the entrepreneurs that are listening, to all of you that are listening, that ones and twosies, if you're in that kind of plateau or you're just starting, this is a perfect opportunity for you to be involved in a tribe of people. And Carolyn, with all of the experience that she's got, do that. And it's a 30-day challenge, and you do beyondfulfilled.com/challenge.
You got it.
Yes. So there you go. There's your answer, you guys. Beyondfulfilled.com/challenge. And let's get rid of those illusions that we have in ourselves, the past fears. And I call it the drunk monkey, because the drunk monkey, I'm like, that makes me giggle, but it's still a serious issue. It's still, and even when you are a multi-million-dollar business, you still have those illusions and those fears and those hiccups that come in. And you're with the walking the talk, which I love. I love that you're walking the talk and presenting yourself in a genuine and authentic way. So guys, listen, we've been talking this whole hour about mindset and overcoming yourself and the sales strategy and creating a business that's going to pay quite a few dividends. You got to set the stage. First and foremost, the stage is yourself. Get the passion, get that conviction, and then other things will come into play. Those things being your tribe and those people that you can aspire to hear from, learn from. And voila, you just created that out of nowhere. Not really, but there it is. But transformation, right? And you can do it with the 30-day challenge. It's her kickstart, but you can go to beyondfulfilled.com/challenge. And I'll make sure that I get that on my social media too, to make sure that people do that. So for those entrepreneurs, again, I'm reminding you, and I'm repeating myself because I want to make sure that you guys heard that and put that in your beautiful little noodled brain. This is your tribe. This is where you can go. If you are going, where do I go to get inspiration? Who can I listen to? Who can I get good quality business sense from? Oh, there we go. Beyondfulfilled.com/challenge.
Absolutely. And we welcome you at any stage. This is not, it's for people who are at the top, at the bottom, whatever stage you're at, however you define it. This is not about how much money you're making. It's about what you're really wanting. So what do you really want? Why do you really want this? And then also, how do you get that in business, but also in all these beautiful areas of your personal life?
Oh, I love that. Go to beyondfulfilled.com/challenge. Well, we've got a couple more minutes, literally 2 more minutes. Is there anything that you would like to add? I would like to know what you're thankful for, because that's huge too.
I am thankful for my intuition. I try to really listen to that again and again and again. I feel life is a sequence of making decisions every single day. And it's always about the right or the wrong one, so to speak, right? And maybe you could say there's no wrong decisions, but we're trying to make the better ones. And so listening to my gut and making that really, like priority for myself has been so key and paid off so many times. So my intuition helps me every day.
I love that. I love that. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to remind all of you, beyondfulfilled.com/challenge. It's a 30-day challenge. It's a kickstart. Get in there, you guys. This is the perfect opportunity. Well, Carolyn, it has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for your grounded wisdom and love and just compassion and your drive behind all of this. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. So you're amazing. It was so great to be on this show and add value and get to know you as well. And I hope we can continue this relationship in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Let me know and say hello to that big, beautiful doggy for me.
Oh, I will.
By sitting right here. Penny, thank you, sweetheart. And I will see you next week. To all of you, to the rest of